This episode is going to be a Last of Us focused podcast. We're halfway through season 1.
Best TV show out right now, bro.
Fabian's been talking about it in the minis and hasn't said shit about it.
I don't want to spoil people, bro.
I'm here.
I want people to like watch
ruin your experience.
Spoiler alert.
I'm going to spoil the
So
fuck
if you haven't seen the show,
it.
click away.
Watch it now.
Yeah, and then come back.
I like seeing my friends who don't play video games watch the show.
Same. That's my favorite.
One of my friends on Twitter, I was like, "Happy Last of Us Day on Friday," just to let people know that it's Last of Us Day today.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I just started watching it." Like,
so good.
I was like, "Wow."
I try to get everyone on, and anytime someone's like, "What should I watch?" I'm like, "Last of Us." Immediately, I'm like, "You should watch it."
Before we continue to Last of Us, you're like, people stop watching old shows. If you've seen it twice, that's enough. And I highly disagree.
Nah. If you've seen it twice,
I don't like you. I'm not that interested in you. I heard it's great. You say it's good. I just don't find the time to watch it right now.
For what? Watch what?
You.
Netflix, the new season of You. I thought you were literally talking about.
This reminds me of that clip on the news.
On the news, yeah. But it took her so long to catch on. I caught
me.
on.
What? No.
I caught on a little bit faster.
But
a lot of people not liking it. They not
really.
At least
the first half of the season.
Yeah, from what I've seen on the internet and like TikTok, people are not fucking with this season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like it, but it's really, for me not to like your show, it has to be really bad. If you give me like if at one point I'm like, ooh, like I'm interested or I'm entertained, I'm like, all right, it's good. Like it's that easy for me to like the show. It has to be horrendously bad for me to be like, I will not watch this show. This show is bad.
Can I tell you a show that I never thought I would like that I started watching?
What show?
Not started watching just now, but when I was in Mexico, I would see these YouTube shorts of House, the show.
The one with the doctor?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would only watch the shorts. So I feel like I've watched the whole
season of it,
the whole series in YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
And then I finally got to watching the episodes. I'm like, that's that one YouTube short. I'm like, that's the other YouTube short. And I'm like, some of them were like in the same episode. I was like, oh, that's the same episode.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. So I feel like I
watched it by
shows
by osmosis.
Yeah, exactly. and then that triggers me to watch the whole series, or like.
So you started watching it?
No, I already watched House. I like.
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah. But like, I went to Mexico like a year ago, and I would watch the YouTube shorts. But I feel like that's how I'm watching a lot of shows now. Like I told you jokingly that I've watched Big Bang Theory like a ton of times. I like the show. I put it on. I edit the minis because I know what's happening. I know what to expect, and I feel like I can work while having something to consume, because I could be like, I remember that scene, and then I'll watch it. It'll end, and then I'll continue to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
With new shows, I can't do that
because you want to pay attention.
Because I want to pay attention, but then sometimes, like, this is what I said earlier when we had the conversation about having new episodes every week on streaming services. If that episode is bad and it's slow, I'm not going to pay attention to it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump on this. And I hate that there's no next episode to kind of bring me back on to the show, because I feel like episode 4 for The Last of Us, before we skip too forward, then a lot and people who don't know about the universe could just be like, skip.
It was a lot of filler.
The hype died, you know? And I think having filler too early is
it was
bad.
building that like new group type shit. Like, these are the new people, these are the group leaders, these are their backstories. Why is this person running away from this group of people? It was mostly that, and we weren't really with the main characters of the show. I mean, no, technically we had a lot of time with them and seeing them like interact and like getting more friendly toward each other, so that was good. But I understand why a lot of people didn't like that episode. I get it.
It's an excuse to stop watching the show. You know, it's an easy jump off point. So I feel like I've experienced a lot of shows like I can have the Big Bang Theory on in the background.
No, but see, with the difference between what I was saying in the mini, what you're saying is, I agree with you. If you're doing something else and you need something to like populate the noise, or just like have something in the background that you could just like enjoy and like look at here and there. Yeah, if you've seen a show 17,000 times and that's your comfort show and you want to throw that on, whatever. I'm saying about what I was saying is about people who are like genuinely to just sit down to rewatch a show over and over and over, because I know a lot of females who do this, bro. Like a lot. Will rewatch Vampire Diaries, Grey's Anatomy.
Let them.
And no, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just think it's dumb when there's so many good shows that you can watch, and
I think that's subjective, though.
And like absorb new content instead of just being like, I'm going to keep rewatching the same thing over and over and over, and actively pay attention and actively sit there, do nothing else but watch this show that I've seen 1,000 times, that I know what's going to happen. There is no like suspense. There is no drama. Like, I know. And for me, at least, I'm like, I get it, but I don't. Like, to me, I can't sit and, like, with me, it would be like you. If I'm rewatching a show, it's like in the background type shit. Yeah. And I already know what's going to happen. It's whatever. It's a comfort show and I'll watch it, whatever. But to sit down and rewatch a show that I've already seen, I can't do it. My brain will be like, we've seen this. We know what's going to happen. There's no intrigue. I'm not entertained. Like, turn it off.
I actually like watching it. I'm rewatching The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And I know what's going to happen, but I feel safer. I'm like, oh, don't worry. He's going to make it out of this.
See, with that show, I can't rewatch The Walking Dead, especially because
Carl's will be all right.
Especially because I hated the ending of The Walking Dead.
Did you watch season 11?
I've watched all of The Walking Dead. I watched it through. I think I stopped watching when Negan was introduced, and then they killed off a certain character.
The second time.
No. It was during. It wasn't those. It wasn't.
You fuck. Walking Dead's been out for mad long.
All right. So when Negan's introduced, he kills off Glenn and Abraham, and it was like Glenn, whatever.
That's Glenn's second death. That's
but I don't know. See that the first death was stupid, but I also didn't care. I would have kept watching the show.
My friend called out sick the next day.
It was when they killed off Carl in the exact same season over some like stupid shit, like a zombie bot.
He got bit. He got bit. He got the Dale treatment.
But
did you know that they killed him off because they don't want to pay him an adult contract?
Yeah, I know. I do know this. He spoke about this in our mini. Yeah.
No, I thought you were talking about.
Oh, you talking about Dale
Lori,
or Carl?
No, Lori. No, Dale's character got killed off by a jump scare zombie in the most shitty way, right?
Yeah.
But they killed off Carl's character because he was a child when he first got onto Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Up to the age of 18, he's getting a child's compensation.
Oh, so he wanted more pay, and they were like,
he wanted the adult pay. He wanted to keep being. He wanted to become Carl of the comics.
Yeah, exactly.
And the show was like, yeah. And then they were like, wait, we don't want to pay you? Fit this in while you're 17. Like, we can't do all this while you're 17 because of just naturally production timelines, right? Yeah. So they're like, no, we're going to kill you off. That's easier to do.
That's shitty. But yeah.
And you know what's crazy?
So when they killed him off, back to that, is when I was like, yeah, I'm done with the show. Because I remember, I am a very
After that, it goes low for a long time.
I was a very, very big fan of the comic books. I love.
Damn, how you be reading shit?
Because I'm a nerd.
No, but like how? Where's the time? I feel like you have no time. I feel like
I didn't.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, how?
I didn't read it recently. I read it a long time. It's been done. So I was reading the comic books, and I knew how important his character was, and I knew how important it was for him to become this type of. And I didn't like where they were bringing his character, but I was like, I'll give it a chance. It's a different type of adaptation. But then they killed him off, and I was like, well, now it's dumb.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, you just ruined the future of this comic book because that's who we follow in the future in the comic book.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So Rick dies.
Yes, Rick dies at the end of All Out War.
And who's the main villain?
Not All Out War. I think it's during the Whisperer War that he dies.
Okay.
So
and they're in the show too, right?
No, but in the show they kill him off even earlier because Andrew Lincoln didn't want to be on the show anymore. He's like he wanted to do something else because he was on it for so long. And again,
he didn't get it.
And they kept doing that, and that's what I'm saying. The Walking Dead just started getting rid of characters after character after character over shit just because it was behind the scenes and had nothing to do with the show.
Yeah.
And it was shit like that I'm like, I can't be committed to a show not knowing that all these actors are just like, oh, I don't want to.
HBO had the chance
what I'm saying.
to do the show.
Oh, that sucks.
Early on, before we got the HBO that brought us The Last of Us. That's why I bring up The Walking Dead because I feel like subconsciously HBO learned from how The Walking Dead was treated in the background. Because these execs talk. These execs have a kind of pride going on where like, I want my network to be the best network. And the first 4 seasons of The Walking Dead, I'm not to season 5 yet, and I can tell you the first 4 seasons, like on my rewatch, are like 1 and 2 are very strong. Yeah. 3 and 4 are very good.
Which one is the CDC season?
I'm not. Oh, that's the last episode of season 1.
I don't like the CDC season.
That's just the 1 episode. That's
really?
Yeah, it's a standoff shit. They didn't know they were gonna get renewed for season 2. And so they tried to give you a little bit of everything for the first. It was only 6 episodes that first season, and the last one they were trying to explain and show you how the walkers work. Yeah, and they ended up retconning a lot of stuff because they were like, we regret, and they even said it, we regret that we said this about the walkers, because in the beginning they still had kind of intelligence where they would like pick up rocks and like bang on the window, and then as the later seasons got, the excuse was, oh, because they're so like, it's been a long time, their bodies are decomposing, and that's why they're not as much of a threat as people, right? And that's why,
you know how stupid that is,
the threat of people became more higher.
No, what I'm saying is the fact that they then again went back on that.
Yeah, exactly.
And the last season, the zombies are using rocks and they're climbing and they're opening doors. So it's so stupid that they went back on it again.
They did, yeah. And that's just you know, you fumble the bag in the behind the scenes stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think HBO, again, with The Last of Us, it's only 9 episodes. That's a weird. That's a weird episode count to begin with.
Yeah, I
right?
feel like they should have went double digits at least.
But Walking Dead season 1 was only 6 episodes, and it was a very great. Really? It was a great season, and I can appreciate the low count for these storytelling shows, right? Yeah. Because The Last of Us is only 9 episodes. Walking Dead season 11 was like 24 episodes. 22 episodes, and people were so mad that it was so many episodes. Yeah. You didn't need that many episodes to tell the small amount of story that you ended up receiving, right? And I feel like a lot of these networks put that pressure on, like, we need more of this that's making us money. We don't need 9 weeks of money. We need 24 weeks of money. That's almost halfway through the year. Yeah. Like, we need a lot of money. And Arrow ran into that same problem where it started off with 16, so when we made the switch to 22. So or we had 22 and then we went down to 16, it somehow made it worse. Like, the quality got worse. They were trying to shove so much story. So you're either going to tell one long story between 22 episodes and hopefully you don't get too much bad episodes in between where people stop watching, or you get 16 episodes and hopefully you tell the story correctly in those 16 episodes. And what I think is The Last of Us being 9 episodes is a good episode number. I mean, I guess some people would like to see 10 because it's just even at that point. But I think the director who directed these last 2 episodes, I think the pacing was a little bit off. It might not be his fault. Again, I said Super Bowl was this the past weekend. It might have been a scheduling conflict where, like, all right, instead of having this episode be 2 episodes as it is, we kind of wanted it to be 1, but we can split it up into 2 episodes and just be like, oh, because we gave you one on Sunday and then we gave you one on Friday. So it's technically not too much of a turnaround for that, right? Yeah. But I think that pacing was a little bit off for me. Just to be, I mean, I love the show. I love what it's doing. I love the changes that it's making. Yeah. But I would have liked to see better pacing from the guy, because they show us the behind the scenes clips at the end of each episode. Yeah. And he makes a specific comment about wanting to tell a different kind of story or wanting it to tell it in the right way, and I feel like he completely missed the mark in the way they showed us the story.